What Devin Haney said about Brian Norman Jr.'s savage knockout. It may surprise you, but in this video, I'm going to break it down. Devin Haney, former undisputed, forced to walk back previous notions and previous comments that he put out. In this video, again, that's what we're going to talk about. Now, you see Jin Sasaki completely laid out in this picture that you see on the screen, courtesy of Brian Norman. Not only did he knock him out viciously, he won every round, dominant fashion. He dropped him 2 times in the first round, and this was a ranked opponent within the WBO. He being WBO champion, Norman was a road warrior, went to Japan. I have a full-fledged breakdown on the Brian Norman knockout of the year, or at least, since it's early, a very strong candidate for knockout of the year. Crazy, crazy stuff. And somebody posted this. Jin Sasaki doesn't remember anything that happened in the last 6 weeks of his life after waking up from the knockout loss to Brian Norman. So he's admitted that he has memory loss. He punched memories out of Jin Sasaki and turned him into Jason Bourne, right? That is not good. Now Devin Haney says and replies to this, dang, maybe Brian ain't so Wow. Now, all of a sudden, after chastising the man, you're saying, oh, maybe he's not so bad. Now, me being the best in the business, and it's not even close, I've already made a video about this, already talked about this and made content. Basically, Devin Haney said that Brian Norman is terrible. He says he is When a fan says Norman called out Devin Haney to fight next at 147 for the WBO, the Ring magazine could be on the line for that or not. Devin Haney's response to a fight is he is saying he's basically horrible. He's a bad champion, not a good fighter, right? Then he says he will price himself out, though. I've seen this play before using my name to promote the fight. Now, me being the best in the business, right? And it's not even close. I have certain policies, if you will, credos that I truly live my life by that has gotten me by. And I express these life lessons or gems or whatever you want to call them on my channel frequently. And I have this saying that I created. It's say it right the first time. And it means exactly what it says. You have to put out information that you really would want to stand behind and believe in. And I've highly criticized this newer generation, especially in boxing, right? They are very famous for saying something and, you know, doing lives and streams where they say things that they later have to recant, or they lose brand deals, or they get kicked off Twitch, kicked off of Kick or streaming websites and banned and all these things. And none of this would occur if you say it right the first time, right? And I really believe that because I'm an online content creator. I have 17,000 plus videos in my history of doing this. And I don't have a team. So, sending a bunch of people to fight. This is me. This is my work ethic. I told you I got to be the greatest, right? So you can get into a slippery slope or a lot of problems having that much content online if you are an idiot, you know, and you just go loose lip saying things and getting yourself in trouble or kicked off the platform or whatever, or cancel culture or whatever. And this new generation is just like, it's terrible, especially in boxing. You literally said the man was and then a day or two later, he literally has a knockout of the year, and now you look crunchy and you look foolish because you just said, you told your whole audience and anybody that would listen, and I made videos, I posted, a lot of people copy me, so you know the message got out. So one day you're saying he's horrible, and then the next day he gets a knockout of the year, dominant performance, and now some people are even changing their mind, like if he can beat Boots or give Boots a run for his money. So that's not a bad momentum to have, you know what I mean? And I expressed this in this Devin Haney video. The Haney content creators, they refuse to talk about stuff like this. So you know where you're getting the real. In that video, this was before Brian Norman's knockout. You guys could check the timestamps, the date before he even got the knockout. I said that's a dumb statement from Devin Haney to say the man is and what happened to like fight him? If he's that horrible, that's an easy lick, an easy belt for you. Now, mind you, you look on the screen, Devin Haney told 140-pound Richardson Hitchens we could get it at 147 when Hitchens was fighting. He was fighting a mutual opponent, George Kambosos. So let me get this straight. Richardson Hitchens, a 140-pounder, has to move up to 147. You haven't even fought at 147, but you as a non-champion, I guess you're trying to dictate terms and make the 140-pound guy move up to give yourself what you probably feel the best advantage. But then when Jerron Boots Ennis was at 47, you really weren't mentioning his name, especially after he destroyed Stanionis. So you had a 147-pound unified champion. At the time, we didn't know Boots was moving up. You didn't even utter his name. Now he made a move and a play, and I got a video coming about that to discuss Boots and Brian Norman and the whole move up to 154. I definitely got more to say there. But Boots announces he's moving to 54 the day before Brian Norman's fight. You call Brian Norman and then now after he gets this crazy knockout and punches dude's memory out, you're like, oh, maybe he's not so So again, you look crazy because the information you put out clearly didn't check out. That would be like me saying a young Beyonce, seeing her in a talent show, and I'm like, she'll never make it. She's terrible. She can't sing. She can't entertain, blah, blah, blah. And then a day later, she gets signed with Destiny's Child and then blow up and turn into this huge superstar, even as a solo act. How dumb would I look as if I was hypothetically a record label A&R or something, and I put out in the Rolling Stone magazine that Beyonce is trash, and then she goes on to have a crazy superstar career. And we hear these stories happen in real life where somebody will say, you know, Brad Pitt, he'll never make it, or Michael Jordan, you know, nobody wants to see that. Oprah Winfrey, she's not a good talk show host. And then these people go on to defy what was just said. This is what happened with Devin Haney. You told us that Brian Norman is horrible, but then fight him. And you seen that left hook at the beginning. That's what gave you all the problems. That seems to be your kryptonite, which we seen from the Ryan Garcia fight. So will you fight him? He's still there. He didn't move up like Boots did. Will you fight him? Now that you pretty much acknowledge that you were wrong and saying that, oh, I guess he isn't And here's the thing. I just went over it. The Haney content creators, they're leading you astray, but I'm always going to be on the right side of history and boxing history, right? The man told Richardson Hitchens we can get it at 147, didn't utter Boots' name. Now Brian Norman looks like the force. He had the most impactful. The welterweight division is kind of dry right now. Devin needs an opponent. That looks like a crazy matchup. That would be a good matchup. And all you say is, oh, I guess he's not which we already knew he wasn't that. He wasn't like this horrible fighter that you were making it out to be. But Devin's previous tagline was, they say everything, but let's fight. So it begs the $1 million question. Do you want to fight Brian Norman? You couldn't get the Teofimo fight for whatever reason. You couldn't get the Ryan Garcia fight because he lost the rematch, so you couldn't set that straight. You need an opponent. Brian Norman wanted to fight Jerron Boots Ennis. You know, he can't get that right now because he moved up to 154. You guys both need opponents. It seems like a sure shot shoo-in. So you previously said they say everything but let's fight. Do you want to fight Brian Norman now that you've acknowledged he's not horrible?